There's a very interesting quote that I ran into recently, and it really struck me, and I thought to myself, that actually makes sense. It goes something like that. People change on 4 different occasions. Number 1 is they hurt enough, they have to. Number 2 is they see enough, they are inspired to. Number 3 is they learn enough, they want to. And number 4, they receive enough that they are able to. Hi, my name is Valentina and welcome back. In this video, we're going to be talking about ordinary life. So stay tuned and let's get on it. I believe that life has a reason to give us the certain lessons that it does. The only thing that we can control is our actual reaction to it, not anything else. You know, we are, let's get something straight. We are imperfect to begin with. Our design, our DNA, and our essence is imperfect. Even physically, one eye is a little bit smaller than the other, one leg is a little bit shorter than the other. Same thing emotionally and spiritually, we are imperfect. So expecting perfection when it comes to our mood, when it comes to our happiness level, when it comes to our interactions with others, it's really unrealistic, and we should really be much more grounded and much more down to earth when it comes to ourselves. As human beings, we are striving for the extraordinary, and we forget the ordinary things, which is most of us will experience on day-to-day basis. You know, 99% of the population will lead an ordinary life, and maybe that 1% is gonna achieve something extraordinary. My whole perception of that is that you need to understand that there is nothing wrong with having an ordinary life, because we are striving non-stop for the extraordinary. Again, thanks to the social media, we forget that there is beauty in the ordinary life, in having that hot cup of coffee, having a conversation with your teenager, going for a walk, going for vacation, which is what we do on regular basis. I recently read a fantastic book. It's called Storyworthy by Matthew Dick. I'm going to link it down below in case you are interested. So basically what he teaches us, and his idea is, we need to do homework for life, which is really different from journaling. Homework for life, I actually do it in my Notion. I made like a template. It's you're just writing a couple of sentences that strike you that day that you want to remember. Those sentences don't need to make sense to anyone else other than you. Basically, if you read one sentence, your memory should bring back that day, that particular event. So I do it, and I've been doing it for the last couple of months, and it's so funny how we forget what happens on daily basis with us, and we think that nothing happens and that we are leading an ordinary life, when in reality, if you read back, and I went back, for example, June 22nd, I read that my daughter said her first word, or that my son confided something into me, and it really struck me that we don't remember these things. We don't remember what happened last week, never mind 2 months ago. So try to do this on regular basis. You don't have to write a story. It doesn't need to be coherent. It's something that only you can basically understand when you read that particular passage. It can be 1 sentence, it can be 2 sentences, whatever you have time for, but try it. It's gonna make a difference. And I really was impressed, and it took me back to understand that, you know, ordinary life is okay. Being middle class is okay. Not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. And if you have a 9-to-5 job, which keeps you happy and content, you should really embrace it, because I do see, no wonder that, 99% of businesses fail within the first 5 years of its operation, because it is not made for everyone. Not everyone has that drive. Not everyone has that mindset to actually run a business, to be a business owner. So if you have a 9-to-5 job, you should really appreciate it. And if you like it, if it's something that's, does good for you, for your family, gives you good benefits, then you shouldn't strive, and you shouldn't look all the time around you and see all of these entrepreneurs, living the life, or living the life that you maybe are dreaming of. It's very much a facade, and I'm telling you that from both ends, because I I worked for someone, I was hired, and then I'm self-employed entrepreneur. Our days never end. Maybe there is a beauty of clocking out, clocking in and clocking out, having a 9-to-5, having a boss who has to worry about how your business does at the end of the day, and that shouldn't be your responsibility. There is a beauty in that, and we are forgetting about that, unfortunately. I don't know if you're familiar with Alain de Botton. He is a famous Swiss-born British philosopher and an author. I'm gonna link this interview down below. In this particular interview, he is talking about how our society is labeling us based on what we do, rather than who we are. So basically, the first question, I went to a party recently, and the first thing that I was asked, and the first thing that people ask you is, what do you do? And based on your response, you are either going to be interesting or uninteresting, which is such a misconception, because there's so much more to you as a person than your job, than what you do, even than what your hobby is. I believe that this is his particular notion is that we live in a society of snobs, and snob is someone who takes that little part of you and makes a universal opinion about who you are as a person. And it's such a wrong approach, because not everyone is striving to become famous. You know, again, going back to Alain, he was saying that if your child has no desire to be famous, that means you are raising that child correctly. It means that your child internalized that message that you gave him, that he is loved no matter what. He doesn't need to be famous and popular and make millions of dollars to actually be loved and accepted. So he's not basing his opinion about himself on outside world. I was talking to my son about that, and he's so much into gym. I was telling him and I was encouraging him, because I want him to kind of, make money on his own, that he should open a TikTok account and start posting those short videos of his workouts, because he has so much progress. And he just stopped me right away. He said, "Mom, I don't want to be on TikTok. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be popular. I'm fine and content with where I am." And that just, made me feel so good about myself, which is probably a bad thing. But as a parent, that means that he got the message that he is loved. And this is the main message that I'm trying to give to my children, that they don't need exterior validation to actually be loved and appreciated. You probably know it as a parent that it's so hard to raise a balanced individual nowadays, because of the spirit of our time. The American dream. Anyone can achieve anything, which is a beautiful dream, but it's really unrealistic one, because not everyone is meant to do something in this world, something major. I mean, you can do something small that can have a big impact later on. So if you are expected to do extraordinary things, no one is gonna actually see the ordinary things that you're doing on regular basis that is probably improving the world and improving the people you are living with. So don't always expect that big bang or that those fireworks or camera action kind of approach to life, because those ordinary things are what makes 99% of our life, which is admirable. If you are being raised in a world where the message is you can do and be anything, and as an individual, and you do only this much, it's gonna break you. You're gonna think that you're not worthy, that something's wrong. Everyone is there achieving their dreams and making millions, and you're just here leading an ordinary life. But materially, middle class and an ordinary life, they're having the best time of their life because it improved so much. Everyone has clean water, everyone has food, everyone has shelter, everyone has their basic needs met. We the lack of acceptance of ourselves has made us sick, unfortunately, and having an ordinary life, we kind of put the snake into the grass and we ruined it. We ruined paradise for us. As I always tell to my children, that a bit of ambition is good. A bit of, get up and go. It's good. That's fun. It's normal. As long as it's in moderation, as long as you don't go overboard. It's okay to be lost. It's okay to not know what you're doing as a parent, as an individual, as an entrepreneur, as a content creator. It is all okay. You're gonna make it through. Your major moments are not gonna be identified by your major purchases, but rather by major milestones. When your child graduated grade 9, or when your toddler made their first steps, or those ordinary things that we kind of tend to forget. That's why I really do encourage you to start that homework for life that I mentioned earlier. To sum up, I really do encourage you to kind of slow down and take a step back and look around yourself and try to memorize all the little things that are happening to you on regular basis. And if you cannot make like a mental memory, write it down, because down the line you're gonna always be going back to those notes, and that's gonna be the high point of your life, the actually ordinary things that happen to you on regular basis. Thank you very much for following, and I will see you next time.